Almost everybody abandoned me. Except for Bad Take Bojan? Bojan?
Trojan. Rhymes with Trojan.
Wow, okay. I may even have to force my girlfriend to put on her mic and get in here.
Yay, more estrogen.
Never mind. Oh, that was a bad idea. I told Scott he had too much diversity on the show. This is what happened. I'm just kidding, YouTube.
Reigning is the Mad King, comes with no ease. Burden of greatness is hard on these knees. Lameness is your particular disease. Stitching with jokes, that's my sacred degree. Bloods and crits got nothing on me. Always dig in, dig out for eternity. That's my war cry, top my Bradley. Knocking out movies like I'm fucking Jet Li. You best believe satisfaction's not guaranteed. Mama Susan treats me like I'm a refugee. But I know how to use her. The YouTuber's YouTuber. Fighting on back roads and back rooms. How they saving the future.
All right. Well, welcome to oh man, I'm coming up with bad jokes tonight. I mean, they're funny. They're just not appropriate. Because I was going to say, welcome back to The Dump. You know, trying to make it really gay because of June.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say that joke. And then explain, hey, this is the bad joke I wasn't going to say. It counts, right?
Oh, absolutely.
As not saying it?
Yeah, and I even have my little post-it note that says, don't make fun of Mr. Bojan tonight. So, yeah.
That is true. All right, yeah, welcome back. Hey, Sherry. We are getting to that Fast and the Furious movie next. We watched an amazing movie last night called For Your Height Only. It is about a Filipinian little person who plays a 007 character, and it's amazing. And never mind. Sorry, somebody joined and then immediately left. So
Hey, we've got 10 people watching now. That's not bad. Oh wait, this is a Saturday, not a Wednesday stream. Darn.
Yep. Yeah. Not my fault. This was a last minute thing, and I only did it for the drugs. Hey, Slender, you have an invite. Anyway. Hey, Mark. Okay, that's cool. Saying hi to Tina, who I haven't even introduced yet. Not me. That's fine. All right. Well, joining me is Tina. Hello.
Hello.
How's
everybody doing?
How's your June going?
My June is going great. It's hot as Hades in Chicago, and what happens when it's that hot? People die. So, waiting to see. We've got a bet with the kids on, how many shootings there will be this weekend. So,
Oh,
I
in
don't know if
Chicago specifically?
Yeah, in Chicago specifically. But yeah, in our neighborhood, we've only had 2 so far this year. So,
That's not bad for that
No.
area of the country.
Exactly. And I think it was 38 shootings last weekend in Chicago proper. So,
Ooh, I'll be honest. We have. It feels like we've had more than usual here in San Antonio, but I mean, not in my area. I live in a nice area. But some of the other areas that I used to patrol. Ugh. You know how to tell that maybe this is just for San Antonio, but Taco Cabana?
I've heard of it before.
Right. So here's how you can tell if you're on the white side of town is if the queso is tolerable. If it's not too spicy, because they know they're people, right? So if you go to Taco Cabana over by, I don't know, the east side, the queso was always couldn't even eat it. It was way too spicy for me, But if I go to a Taco Cabana near where I live, good. It's very bland, not a lot of spice to it, perfectly edible for the white people. And that's how you can tell.
My brother went through a similar transformation, and the fact that all the while growing up, he was always a big griller. The meat was always
Hmm.
seasoned perfectly.
Hmm.
He'd make homemade salsa, homemade guacamole all the time. It's great. He marries a woman from Mexico. We can't eat
Oh
shit at his
no.
house. Everything is spicy as hell.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Oh, man, I'm trying to think. Have I ever even been in a relationship with somebody who could cook?
Hey,
All right, moving on.
I taught my husband how to cook. He felt really good about it because he was always very
Oh
intimidated
boy,
because his mom was super like, oh, you're gonna mess up the stove,
here
oh,
we
you're
go.
gonna ruin the oven, blah blah. But not making fun of him. I just had to teach him that all cooking is just warming up food. You just put things together in a pot, you pop it in the oven, you turn it on, it's fine. So now it's not as intimidating. So and it's not an insult. It's just somebody who grew up never being taught to cook.
Yes, sorry, I'm reading a text from someone.
Uh-oh.
They're not gonna join because Slender's here now. Hey, welcome, Slender.
Oh, I mean, I can leave.
No, that's okay.
Oh, somebody's got to say Mad for more, Mr. Bojan cooking stories. I mean, they're not that entertaining.
I can cook. I can grill. Let me rephrase that. I can grill. Man, I got these steaks from this one place. They were Japanese steak, and the whole story behind it is they had to sneak the cows off on a plane in the middle of the night, but the Takuza was chasing the plane on ninja motorcycles with guns shooting at this plane because they didn't want the cows to leave Japan.
Whoa.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Were there
all the
drugs
details.
inside the calves?
I can't remember all the details, but that's basically what happened. Oh man, these steaks were so good, and I mean, you had to use two hands to get them onto the grill because they would start flaking apart. Ah, they were so good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome. My son grills really well. I think he must have inherited it from, my side as in my brother, because he grills very, very well. And he made pork chops once. I swear to God, they tasted like filet when he was done. They were so amazingly tender and very, very well done. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. I can grill all kinds of things. I grilled fajitas, carne asada, other meats. I grilled a pizza once.
Oh, we've done that camping. That's fun.
Yeah, it's every once in a while, every 3 years. Slender,
Now,
what
is it
about
like
you
from
and your
home? Is
grilling?
it from home pizza or just like
Yeah,
frozen
yeah.
pizza tossed on the grill? Oh,
What
okay.
the fuck? No, I don't like. Oh, it's DiGiorno's. It's not delivery. It's grilled.
Let me grill up this tombstone.
Slender.
What do I cook?
Yeah, sure. That's where we're at right now.
I grill. I do a lot of pan fry. I have an industrial sized deep fryer, so I can do a turkey.
Oh man, I like
Ooh.
fried turkey.
Yeah. I do too, but like the wife was always afraid of the propane fryer, so I was like, look, it's an electrical deep fryer that's big enough to handle a turkey. I'm deep frying a turkey.
Did you know that helium is not explosive?
No.
No.
It's the old thing that they used to use in the blimps that is not good, but helium's okay.
Yeah. They used to use non-helium in blimps.
Yes. Helium
Hydrogen.
minus.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, that's the one.
That's the one.
I kept thinking nitrogen, and I'm like, no, that's the cold thing.
Oh, speaking of cooking in beer, I've cooked eggs in a beer can in a campfire before. I don't think, my grandfather used to take a can of beer and shove it up a chicken's ass after it's already dead, and it would be beer chicken because the beer would do the thing,
The marinate thing,
the
tenderize thing.
water.
Did it
No, it's the
explode?
can. No, it didn't. It never did explode. No, but the condensation would moisten the chicken.
Okay.
Interesting.
I
So,
do.
we used to make bear can chicken, but that was you used the can to have the chicken stand up on the grill. That was, but we're Polish, so what the hell do we know?
I do the beer battered fish.
Ah.
The key to that is make sure that the beer is super cold.
Hmm.
That way it crisps up really quick when you put it in the fryer.
Did you know the acid and citrus can cook fish?
Yeah, that's how you can eat not very well cooked fish, because that's pretty much all the Japanese do. I don't know if they just can't afford, flammable material, and
Oh, this was
they
a
got a whole
Cuban
bunch
thing.
of citrus hanging around, but yeah.
This is a Cuban thing. Cajun is what he cooks.
I do a lot of Cajun food. Like,
Oh,
I
you-
put paprika on everything.
do you do the
Ooh,
accent as you
yum.
cook?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I do.
Oh, down here on the bayou, we be cooking up that gator.
Well, what you do is you take the gator and you put it in the pan with your potatoes and some of the carrots, and you boil that shit for about like maybe an hour or two, and then it's gonna be real good. Yeah.
Well, if gators taste like chicken, and chickens are easier to like catch and kill, then why do you eat gator?
Because
Hey,
when,
you know
when
what?
you kill something, it tastes better because you killed it, and
Okay.
it's the excitement of the hunt and the man pitting himself against
Oh, yeah.
nature. Very important things.
It always tastes better when you're eating something that could have ate you.
Yeah, like I have reasserted my alpha status. I am the apex predator in this here swamp.
That's why it's totally fine to be a cannibal as long as you allow that person to be having a weapon. Kind of like Dangerous Game.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, no, we in agreement on this one, 100%. We in lockstep.
Okay.
Human is fine as long as you let them defend themselves. Favorite cannibal movie? Go.
The Hills
I'll
Have
start.
Eyes?
That's not bad. Mine has to be God, what is it? Bon Appetit. Dang it. Babe. What's that
What's
movie? Oh, Ravenous. See, that's all I had to say was what was that movie? She nailed it because she loves her cannibal movies.
What's that new one, Menu?
Nah, I didn't care for it, and I don't think they ate any people in that one.
Oh, okay.
Was it heavily
implied?
implied? That was
Nope.
the weird one with the like.
The cook?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been good. I'll say that. But yeah, Ravenous is a great movie with Guy Pearce and Deputy Dewey from Scream.
Okay.
David Arquette, is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he, dude, do you know he was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes, he was.
Because it's delicious. Is the Bryce Linder talking about humans?
Might be humans. Might be paprika. It's who knows.
The red shirt.
I refuse to comment any further for legal reasons.
By the way, welcome back to the Dump Cooking Show, where we talk dumping and cooking, or cooking and dumping.
As long as you're not cooking the dump.
Oh. Uh-huh. A pinky toe, yeah. Okay. Thank you. The girlfriend just came in to add that she would eat a pinky toe with nothing in return. Just a pinky toe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that.
Well, it was a whole Army Hammer thing, remember? Did I ever ask her that question? If you could get the body of Army Hammer, would you eat a pinky toe?
Army Hammer? I don't.
The actor.
Who is this?
What? You don't know Army Hammer?
Hammer?
Yeah, there's this documentary about him allegedly, which I think it turned out to be bullshit. About him wanting to eat people. Oh, Mark C is on the way.
Excellent.
Okay, I mean, no, I would not eat a pinky toe. He doesn't look that great.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just a pinky toe. I'm not saying a leg.
Yeah, but I mean, I can just work out and look about that good. So
Or a pinky toe.
See, I don't work out, so if there's ever like, a zombie outbreak or like, a national what do you call it, food shortage and stuff,
Uh-huh.
the hubby knows just to shoot me because I'm just gonna slow them down and eat too much. So
So as far as I'm glad we're on this. As far as zombie apocalypse go, I'm cool with the Romero slow walking zombies, but if you start bringing in World War Z and
Runners.
yeah, man,
yeah.
fuck that shit,
Ooh,
dude. I'm not putting in
mhm,
that effort.
exactly.
Yeah, I will survive as long as I have a vehicle available to me. But the second I got to start trying to outrun that many zombies, it's like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna use this bullet on myself.
Yep.
I took human what?
I
Pituitary
took human
gland?
pituitary gland
yeah.
pills to get
That's what I was
ripped
gonna
in
say.
the 80s.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember that being a fad. It's brain like doesn't
Brain?
remember much of the eight. I say the brain doesn't remember much of the
Oh.
80s, but yeah,
Why is that?
because I was too poor to eat.
Oh, well, that
So
was a sad answer to that
sorry.
question.
Yeah, it's never fun with me. So
I'm so glad you could be here.
We're gonna have a great time tonight. Well,
I
everyone
guess-
except Tina.
Yeah, I guess we will get to the topics. All right,
Oh,
the
we
Flash.
have topics.
Yeah.
ooh, do you guys have your tickets for Flash yet?
No.
Oh.
Are you kidding? I don't think there's going to be a rush. I think I can wait till day of.
Has there ever been like a huge demand
Oof,
for a
great
Flash movie?
No.
Not really. See, I bought
Yeah.
my Thursday tickets just because I want to be able to see it before everybody else. And,
Oh.
because I can't miss Nick Cage. So I'm literally, I mean,
How
I'm
dare you
going to
spoil
see
it?
Michael Keaton as Batman. It's already out. Everybody knows he's got like a 30-second cameo. So
Oh, shit. Nobody look at my privacy rights. I didn't hit the X yet. Okay, we're good. All right. Well, speaking of the Flash, here comes the Flash. A low budget. Oh, sorry. A low profile. I was like, wait, a low budget Flash movie? I don't think that's right. A low profile Ezra Miller. The secret ending Warner's is trying to preserve, and a sequel script on ice. That's a lot. Tatiana Siegel. That's a made up name.
Well, it's still like, I guess the big issue here is Ezra Miller's still a piece of shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's been locked up in the WB water tower with the Animaniacs, and they're letting him out.
exactly. Only for the premiere. I'm not even sure they're going to let him walk the red carpet. It's too
They
dangerous.
are allowing him to do photo ops.
Mhm.
Probably not with fans. Could you imagine? They let him do photo ops with fans, and he's like, "You should come join my cult."
Or either that or he chokes, 3 pregnant women on the way into the theater.
Somebody hand me a chair.
Breaks somebody's camera. Just goes full WWE on it.
Wait, hold on. It's nothing but Superman. It's nothing but Man of Steel 1.5 with every Superman except Henry Cavill. Dude, if Henry
Yeah.
Cavill's not in this, but they have every possible iteration of a Superman but him, that's kind of fucked up.
Somebody hates Henry Cavill. I don't know
Yeah.
who. It's not the
Mhm.
audience, but somebody hates Henry Cavill.
White
I
women.
think he didn't, take care of some man's needs somewhere along the lines in his acting career, and that's why he's being blackballed, or blacklisted. Sorry.
He's being blackballed because he blue balled somebody.
There you go. That is a nice ring to it.
Him and Armie Hammer were both together in the movie The Man from U.N.C.L.E. by Guy Ritchie. Really, really, really good movie.
That was a good movie. I
Better
enjoyed
than the
that one.
original? Is it better than the original?
How do you think we are, Tina?
Yeah, I never saw the original,
Sorry.
so I cannot provide a basis for comparison. But
I
I
keep
liked the
forgetting-
new one.
I keep forgetting I'm
Damn.
ancient.
Man, next you're gonna be bringing up the Great War. Like what?
You know, the big one, WW2.
Wait, that was it? I thought it was World War One.
No. You talked to my grandmother, and she was part of the greatest generation, which would be the generation before the boomers.
Thank God
And
they're mostly died off. I was getting tired of it. We're the greatest generation. Oh my God. Okay, we get it.
yeah. So
It
whenever
kind of
she would talk,
sucks because
Yeah.
like you have that title already, and it's like now we have to wait for you all to be gone before we can even give that title out to anyone else.
exactly. But no, it was hysterical whenever she would talk about. She was born in like 1924, and anytime she'd talk about the war, you know, you're like, okay, which one, Grandma? And she would go, the big one, the great one, WW2. And I'm like, okay, thanks.
You know, my favorite
bet
one.
Exactly. So I
I'm a
write my
big World
history
War II fan.
Yep, write my 8th grade history report. My grandma said World War II was the greatest war, and here's why.
top 10 reasons why World War II was the best.
Dude, there will be one cool thing I think when World War III finally breaks out. I'm gonna try and capitalize on this. It's my idea. I'm copywriting, trademarking right now. No one else can have it, but I'm gonna do a fantasy war league.
That's awesome.
So you guys can, everybody can come in and they can piecemeal their different militaries. I want the Air Force from Israel. I want the tanks from Russia. All that.
The
stuff.
hippos from the Boer War too. The Second Boer War.
Yeah. And then we'll all chip into the pot. And whoever picked the right military wins the fantasy league.
So kind of like Risk, but online.
I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, real people are dying, online, so it'll be even cooler.
Oh, World War One could have been bigger. So are you saying that World War II gets it, but on a technicality, just because the technology and population wasn't there for World War One.
World War One could have killed more people. It's not for lack of trying. They didn't have those force multipliers like we do now.
I mean, you tell him it's like, Babe Ruth, okay, maybe one of the greatest hitters of all time, but he didn't have to go against some screwball from some Cuban immigrant. Throwing, you know what I mean? Throwing a knuckleball at 40 miles an hour. Yeah, he didn't have to go against that. So is he the best? I rest my case. Was that too inside baseball?
No, not at all.
Well, not for you. You're literally wearing a Cubs hat.
I'm kind of the same way when people try to explain to me how Michael Jordan isn't the best basketball player and it's Kobe, and I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, I love Kobe. Kobe had that venom to him, as Michael Jordan did, but MJ's still the greatest.
Yes.
Which is why LeBron never will be, because he does not have that venom.
No, LeBron is. I don't even think he's a contender. Sorry, he's not.
I hate him that much. But, like, I want to agree with you. I'm like, but yeah, I don't know. It would be hard to keep him out of my top 15.
His attitude is.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-mm. See, us Gen Xers, we were taught you could be the greatest, you just can't tell anybody. You just know it in your head.
Much guess was the only WMD back then.
Well, I like that about being a Gen Xer, even though I'm like on the border. But I like that about being a Gen Xer because I know I am the greatest, and I'm not going to prove it just because you want me to prove it.
Exactly.
Wait, what does that even mean?
It means when you try to test my greatness, I will not play your stupid game, which may prove to you that I am the greatest, but I'm still not doing it.
Exactly. And we don't have to brag about being the greatest. We know it. We own it. We don't need to have an argument.
Man. Okay. I think I'm millennial light. I forgot what they call us.
78 or 80, depending on whose scale, is the end of the
yeah, no, I'm nowhere near Generation X. Are you kidding?
Yeah, I'm like a year and a half off of Gen X. I still subscribe to Gen X.
I still subscribe.
You identify as.
I identify as Gen X.
Yeah, I can tell you about, Carson Daly TRL.
Yeah, I was already working by then, so I wasn't able to watch that.
Wow. I can tell you about the wallflowers.
I hate the wallflowers.
I honestly, I don't even know who they are. I could not tell. I literally could not tell you anything about the wallflowers.
I couldn't list a song if you had a gun to my head.
One headlight and one headlight. Isn't that the wallflowers?
I don't even recognize the song.
Yeah,
Sorry.
me either.
Yeah, one headlight. See, Sherry loves the wallflowers, and I think that is a wallflower song.
No, she said loved the wallflowers.
Love. Yeah, no, I think that is a wallflower song. It's like in that Oasis Dave Anthony band. Not Dave Anthony, god dang it. Dave Matthews band.
Yeah, no, One Headlight is by the
wallflower song?
Wallflowers.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I don't think I've ever heard it, but yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah. And then Oasis. You remember Oasis?
Oh, that one's the Me and Cinderella song. Okay, now I recognize
Yeah, Me and Cinderella. Me
Yeah,
and
okay.
Cinderella be dancing with that fella.
We put it all together. We can drive it home with one headlight.
In
Yeah,
fact, Bob Dylan's son was the lead singer of the Wallflowers. Just another fact, like I said, I could tell you about the Wallflowers.
Really?
Yep. You're in the 90s. Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, and he spells Jacob like incorrectly.
Yep.
With a
Jacob
K.
Dylan. Oh, wow, look at this. McCracken's stealing from me. Yeah, I've already mentioned that. God.
Uh-huh.
The more you know. Do. Yeah, anyway, so the Flash. Wow, that was a walk. How do we get here? Anyway, so yeah, he's not gonna be available for interviews. Not sure why.
Because his medication only works to a point.
I was gonna say, are you not sure why? I think he's not available for interviews because the studio was like, you will not do any fucking interviews. Do you understand?
I was gonna bring up the article about a man got pregnant. What? Well, I mean, and then like fine print. Well, technically it's still a woman, but you know what I mean. That article.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I've heard a couple of those stories at this point. Yeah.
I think it's like the cover of People or something magazine.
Glamour.
Glamour. There you
British
go.
thing. Yeah.
They spell glamour wrong. Yeah.
Because there's nothing as glamorous as childbirth, I tell you.
Oh yeah.
It is when a man does it. Avi, men do everything better. We even do birth better.
He probably gets no labor pains.
Nope. Do you remember this a long time? I remember the commercial for Oprah when she was gonna have a man who delivered a baby. It did shots of the audience and they're like, oh, and it was just a chick.
I mean, I don't even know why that it elicits a gasp because men usually do deliver the baby because men usually are the doctors.
Damn.
That's point. Yeah, the
with
woman who
facts.
did both my C-sections. She's so short. She was so short, and her assisting attendant was so tall that she was literally standing on top of a milk crate with the scalpel in her hand. I'm like, whoa. The hospital can't afford.
Dude, a milk crate? Like,
yeah, literally.
We don't have like steps or something. Like, what if somebody bumps that milk crate with their foot while she's got a scalpel in you? You know.
Exactly.
I love how both of y'all went with a stool, and I'm like a male doctor. Oh, with what the hospital couldn't afford.
That's a good one.
Yeah, a little different on our interpretations of what we were mad at.
Well, the male doctor was finishing up, and it was hysterical because he was talking to my husband because he kept like looking over the curtain because he was a biology major, almost pre-med. So he's like,
oh, so he was a biologist?
Yeah, he was a biologist, and so he's like peeking over, and then the best part is like, female doctor, baby came out already. She's looking at the baby, doing all the baby stuff, and then like I don't know if he's like, taking inventory or whatever. And so my husband, he goes, oh, well, here's one ovary. It looks pretty good. He plops it down, picks up another. Here's the other ovary. Looks good. I'm like, Stop playing Jenga with my body parts.
What the fuck are you telling us right
Put it
now,
all back in.
Tina? Are you saying that during your C-section, your husband was picking up your ovaries?
No, he wasn't. The doctor, since my
Oh.
husband said he was almost pre-med and was a biology major. So the doctor's like, oh, you want to see what I'm doing? It's okay. Just keep your mask on and don't touch anything. So husband scoots forward. Of course, he's no longer telling me I'm great and gave birth to our beautiful son. No, he's watching all my body parts get pulled out and checked over and shoved back in.
Honestly, next time you tell it, have your husband playing with the ovaries.
Okay, I'm sure that would be a funnier story, but all right.
I legit thought that's what you were saying.
This is gross. Like, this is gross. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was in the operating room when my wife had her C-section, but after they pulled the girls out, they sent me off with the girls. So.
Oh, the girls weren't the ovaries then.
No.
They were the babies. Oh, God.
They were the actual babies.
Oh, that's funny. Speaking of gross, Aussie ASMR multi-layered sends $2 because sports not here. He's not. Wait, sports. Wait, what? Because sports not here. It took me a second.
That's good.
No, listen.
Damn autocorrect.
Listen. Like my grandfather always said, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I like
Fun
that.
fact, he never said that, but I didn't let that fact get in the way of a good story.
Ooh, lesson learned. I got it.
Boom. Mr. Grant Gregory for $2 because Scott's not here also. Yeah, no sports, although we did have sport talk.
Hey, that's what we say every Wednesday. The best Scott stream is a stream without Scott. So
True. So what else we got? We covered the Flash. We covered the pregnant woman.
I mean, we've covered nothing so far. The Flash isn't even worth covering.
Yeah.
So,
Sherry, I have seen it. All right, I get notifications. I just haven't clicked over to see what it is.
You should share it with the group.
I should not.
I want to see it. Oh, can you not share it with the group?
No, I can. Hold on. Jeez, I'm gonna share the group one, not the single one. Oh, jeez. This is why I've been ignoring her for so long. All right, well, here you go. All right, everybody saw it. We can take it down.
Oh man, I hit print screen at the perfect time.
Yep. There's yep.
It's the whole crew.
I love Sherry always uses that picture.
Dude, I don't like that I am sandwiched between Grant and Walton, though.
Do you not see where your hand's at?
Oh, no, I like that part.
Oh, all right. Anyway, I am going to save the one of just me, though. For later. You know, for a different stream is what I mean.
Yeah.
People like full screens the heck with strikes. Yeah, it's not your channel. Rewinds clips. Oh man, you guys. Yeah, you know, it does just look like a bunch of bros having a good, you know, it's summertime. You know, it's summertime.
I mean, we usually do that before we go play volleyball on the beach. So.
You saw the denim. That was some bros ready to go play volleyball. Avi. I love how many times I'm able to say Avi and nobody calls me out on it. See what I mean?
You're like a Gen Z, right?
Yeah, and with all the ridiculous things you do, why would I call you out on that?
Name 7.
7 ridiculous things you do? When you act like you're really nervous for certain streams. Buckle up, kittens. Say goodbye to my wife. I'll say hello to yours. If you're not being beamed up, you're being beamed down. If you can't be savory, be delicious. I'm at 5. Would you like me to keep going?
Actor claims he's demonically oppressed. What is this?
This is an article Scott shared earlier in the Saturday Dub chat. So,
Matt is a millennial. No, not. Let's see here. How do I click on it? Okay, just click. And who is this person?
I've never heard of him before.
Didn't Scott send us a fake news one time?
I think he did, yes.
Oh, I remember that.
But this is bounding into comics, so not everything they write is fake.
Snowfall, never seen it. Actor Damson Idris, is he related to Albert Idris?
No, I think it's Idris Elba, so probably not.
Is he related to Idris Elba?
I don't think so.
What kind of first name is that? Like when he was born, did his dad be like, "Damn, son"?
Exactly.
He was demonically oppressed. That's weird. After praying to the devil, I had nightmares every day.
I mean,
demonically oppressed?
Typically, you don't pray to that particular being, but okay.
Well, yeah,
so
but
when you pray to the devil oppresses you?
Okay.
Yeah, so when you pray to the devil oppresses.
It sounded better the first time.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Is this
Hi.
Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry, I was like the gospel. I know who that is.
Yeah, it's
Matthew
me.
Mark.
I just figured we're all doing the off-camera thing. So when in Rome,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
totally.
I didn't even put it up. I didn't even plug it in. It's a last minute thing because I am one of the good ones on YouTube.
That YouTuber's a YouTuber.
Yep. Anyways,
Yeah.
have you heard about this one, Mark? About this dude being
I
oppressed?
saw something about this on Twitter. He prayed to the devil and the devil answered or something. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? You can't like F around with stuff like that, man.
Well, as he says in the quote, he effed around and found out.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I don't understand. I guess the oppressed part. How does the devil oppress you? And I thought it would be more of a possession, not an oppression.
He was demonically oppressed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, you can't get this job. I'm the devil. Blah, you know.
I'm literally Googling demonically oppressed.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, son
Jesus.
of a gun! It's
Like-
a Bible term.
oh, okay.
When ministering to
Really?
the demonically oppressed, believers should rebuke the demonic spirit in the name of Jesus.
I legit was
So-
about to say this must have been written by Jacob. Look, it is written by Jacob.
I was
There you go.
thinking, that's very discouraging. A black man can't even get an equal, like anything, even in hell. Is that demonically oppressed? I can go to hell still? Can't catch a break.
My question is like, it says you're supposed to rebuke them in the name of Jesus, but if you prayed directly to the devil,
Mm-hmm.
does your Jesus card get revoked for a while? Like, how do you get it back? Like, I would imagine if you pray to the devil and then this beset you, maybe Jesus would be like, you need to learn your lesson, so you're going to have to deal with this for a couple weeks, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like going to McDonald's and getting food poisoning, then go to Burger King and complain about it. And they're like, well, what'd you go there for? You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. Like you
Yeah,
shouldn't go to the other side, man.
As I further my research here about demonic oppression, apparently it's like a scale. It's somewhere between temptation and possession. So I didn't realize there were levels of demonic involvement.
No, I agree with Boosh on that one.
What's up,
I know
Boosh?
it happened. He's an idiot. End of story.
Job was oppressed. He didn't even ask for it. That's because the devil made a kind of trolled God into making a bet.
Yeah, that was a bet.
Yeah, and I love
Pray
it.
to the devil. You get what you're asking for, man. You get what you deserve.
Yeah.
Unless
you
you're
go.
Job.
You're messing around with demons.
Yeah, that is true. Hey, listen, I've always said this. I embrace my whiteness, and this is some shit that gets white people killed. I don't fuck with. I don't mess with animals I don't know. I don't check out strange noises at night. I don't get in the ocean, and I sure as shit don't be praying to demons. I've seen that movie. I'm not gonna be a statistic.
Normally, black people don't do this either, but apparently, damn son didn't get the memo.
Ew,
Oh,
come
seems
on,
like
bro.
lately everybody in Hollywood is doing this. Like,
Yeah,
what's that one dude? There's like a fashion designer who like he made a shirt that says Satan respects pronouns or some shit, and I'm like, okay,
Oh, yeah, that Eric guy from the Target
Oh
stuff.
man, I love this. It turns out the devil isn't such a nice guy. Damson later said. Oh man, nobody warned me.
He's
He had
what
nightmares
is he
every
again? What?
day.
There's a term. Oh, he's evil. Evil is the word.
I gotta take that down before I cancel. No, I don't want alerts from my audio to in the comics. And then I said it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's see. In 2023. Oh no, sorry, it's 2023. People haven't figured out one of the life most basic principle. Fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like he's possessed there.
Yeah. Set in the 1980s ghettos of Los. I haven't even heard of the show. It had 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Man.
What's the show?
And Pedro
Snowfall?
Pascal was in that.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
Jeff Bridges was in this.
But
Michael
here's the question.
Imperioli.
Is Pedro Pascal good in anything he's in? Because everybody seems to love him, but I haven't seen him do one decent performance.
Yes.
Okay, he's hysterical in the
Absolutely. The
that one with
unbearable
Nick
weight.
Cage. Yes.
The unbearable weight of talent.
of something talent.
What about Santa? Does he respect pronouns? What? Yeah.
He was cool in Game of Thrones. That's about it.
I
Yeah.
loved him in Game of Thrones. Also in Narco
Never saw it.
on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard of it. I just never saw
Yeah,
it.
really good. So yeah, I think he can be good in everything, but I think at this point he is more like, I'm gonna do my acting, and it's the same in every movie,
Mhm.
kind of. I mean, even with Mandalorian, he's already admitted he's not there. He's recording this shit from his toilet. He's not.
No, he's checked out of Mandalorian about as much as Henry Cavill was checked out of The Witcher.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
read this yet? Like, I read ahead, and oh my god, this dude is a fucking moron.
Oh please. Let's see. I was hitting a block, right? I was like,
Yo, you gotta do it with the accent, man. You gotta be like, I was hitting the block, aight?
No.
That's the LA accent, though, right?
Does he have an LA accent?
I have no idea. I've
I bet
never
he's
heard this man
British.
speak.
I bet he's British.
Probably.
Well,
Everybody's British. lately.
Yeah, it's damn son. Yeah, Idris, whatever.
Yeah. Idris, right? Idris?
Yeah,
Idris.
Idris.
Yeah. Dude, I had no idea that Stringer Bell was British. He's a great actor. Idris Elba, when he was in the Wire on HBO, one of the greatest series of all time,
Mm-hmm.
plays Stringer Bell. Anyway, so I'm gonna read it as if he's British because I think he's probably British. So I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, "Come on, Dale, right? Come to me, come to me, be my butterfly, sugar, baby, mama."
Oh my
Because-
god.
Because I had to do something like crazy, right? Okay. He had nightmares for a month. Like, I had nightmares every day. Like, I felt that energy. Man, I'm killing this accent. And-
Wait, sorry. Just to make sure, just to give you more fuel, he was born in 1991 in Southeast London to Nigerian parents.
Some bitch. Are you serious? Did I call that shit?
You called it.
Don't even need. Yeah, hell yeah. And you call your mom up. Oh, if I would have seen Moom like this, I'm like, oh, of course he's British, or Jacob is. And you're like, bring me back to life. Can't wake up.
Wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the devil.
Okay.
Oh
Okay,
man,
that is the second time. Whatever. This sounds believable. That stuff real. This stuff really is real. Cool, bro. Yeah. So that
How
was
many
it. You guys had
drugs were
nightmares.
involved in this?
Yeah. Oh, man, Jacob's going on forever. I wish he would just jump on here and sum this shit up for me. I guess drink each other's blood. What? Oh, I guess drink each other's blood. Who is this? Oh, Megan Fox?
Yeah.
Boy. All right, well, maybe Jacob will join in a little bit and sum all that up.
So he's having a hard time getting into like the swing of the character or the scene or whatever. So he does what any other person would do. He calls out to Satan. That's
As
what he
one
would have
would.
us believe. Like you
I
have
mean-
writer's block. Come on, Satan. Come on, devil. Help me out. Help me out.
There's another option. It's called do some fucking research, but
Hell yeah.
okay.
This is the nicest thing you've ever said to me. When that show says
Ugh.
Mad needs to be a Brick character in any daytime soap, and I would. Oh, okay, man. These guys talking about Megan Fox is ugly because of those thumbs. They're Boost. I know you're doing that shit on purpose.
What's he doing on purpose?
He's throwing bait out there in the chat like he don't know. Megan Fox has
Okay.
the ugliest thumbs ever, and they're a turnoff. 100%. Have you never seen her thumbs?
Yeah, she's got that disease. I forget what it's called.
Ugly thumb disease.
Big thumb disease?
No, but something like that.
Big toe thumb disease.
Does she really? I've never looked at her thumbs.
You ain't never seen her thumbs, Mark?
Oh, they're scary.
Nah, I guess I was looking somewhere else.
Yeah, I was
Where?
gonna say if you include other assets in the shot, my focus will be drawn away from the thumbs.
Nope.
Yeah.
All the time I go straight to the thumbs. It's number one on the checklist.
Don't mess up the scene, man. If you show me her thumbs, that's all I'm ever going to see from here on out. so
Exactly. Yeah.
don't mess it up.
Nope, not me. Let's see. Google thumbs, Megan Fox. Thumbs. And there's only 1,000 pictures.
Why are they
It's
shooting off
Bracky-
fireworks over here?
It's brachydactyly.
Yeah, brachydactyly. The killy, the filly. Wait, dang it. What is it? Oh man. This is why Scott shouldn't let me do these. By the way, Mark, this is it.
What?
That's her thumb.
They're
Well,
kind of
one of
That's
stubby.
her thumb.
Yeah, that's her thumb. One of them.
That's her thumb. Yeah, it's a genetic condition caused by a
Okay.
mutation that affects bone growth. I think Jeremy Renner has that too.
Oh yeah, his
Wow.
hands are weird too, but that's expected for a guy.
Hmm.
Nah, that's gonna fuck up my algorithm now.
Yeah, it looks like a toe.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said.
Wow. Yeah.
They just
yeah.
look like big.
Oh, man, all of his fingers look like that.
Yeah,
Shit.
her second joint
Damn.
never grew. What the hell?
Yeah.
Did she try asking the devil for a second joint?
Oh, so instead of having 3 segments, there's only 2.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. One.
Oh, I guess with a thumb, there's only 2 anyway.
Yeah. Two.
Like I'm doing the thing.
How many am I supposed to have?
But if she doesn't have the second segment, she doesn't have opposable thumbs.
Well, unless he doesn't have the first one.
Like you can't bend your thumb if you don't have. I don't know. I don't
Isn't
know.
toe
Wow.
fingers a sound of downs? No, the second joint did not grow with the rest of her.
Okay, so it stayed tiny.
So she has baby joints?
Well, according to what Jeremy Renner has, it's the same condition, and it's explained as strikingly short.
Don't you bring
bones
Jeremy
in his
Renner into
fingers.
this?
Oh, okay.
Don't ruin that for me.
Don't ruin
Okay.
that for me. I did notice his hand this last season of Mayors of Kingstown. His
Yep.
hands were definitely.
Yeah, he's got pretty grody looking hands.
So he can't really shoot a bow and arrow then, can he?
Ooh.
You
Wow.
don't need a thumb to shoot an arrow.
Yes, you do. You gotta. Don't you have to hold it a certain way? Like,
No, you 2 fingers. You need your index finger and your middle finger to pull back the string. But I mean, you could use your whole hand, but you don't.
but
need
can he
to.
bowl?
No, he
like
probably
this?
can't bowl.
Wow. What's up,
Well,
Chili?
he'd need a custom ball. They'd have to drill it for his monstrous thumb.
Okay. Inspirational.
I've bowled, but I've never been a bowler. Does that make sense?
I was
Yeah,
a
I'm the same
bowler
way.
for a while. I had my own bowling ball
Oh,
drilled
boy.
to my hand. I had the shoes.
Ooh.
I hung out with like this guy who always said, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie. You're out of your element." And we were doing really well in the tournament, man. Until
Did y'all try to
these
hustle some
nihilists
money?
came and told me they'd cut off my Johnson.
Whoa.
Man, and then you were hustling, and he ran off, and you lost your hand, and that's why you have the rubber hand.
No, you're thinking of a different guy.
Oh,
I know who you're
okay.
talking about, but that's not me.
That's Rory. Ah, man, I almost had his name. Since we were discussing anatomy, Matt, can you please? Oh, you son of a. Men have as many ribs as women have. That's a fact. All right, fuck it. I don't have anything else to talk about. So what happened was,
Well, I shared another link from the chat, but it's okay.
and this person, whoever this is, said howdy. All right, so I'm not sure how old I was when this happened. Within the last 10 years, I'll say that. Right. So I was doing a bit with my current girlfriend about how women have taken everything from men. You know, as one does in a new relationship. I'm like, women took everything from men. And I was like, and they even took one of our ribs. And that's why we have less ribs to the day. And she stops and she goes, wait a minute. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, you know, because, you know, in the Bible, right? He took a rib of Adam to make Eve. It turns out that that was just Adam's rib, not all men's ribs, which I didn't think that's what happened. I thought that they were explaining a anomaly with anatomy that, you know, men have one less rib. So then, you know, when you're crafting the creation story, that would be a part of it. I didn't think, like, literally we lost a rib because of Eve. But I was under the impression that we did have one less rib. I wasn't using the Bible for anatomy, monkey Jeebus. What I said was, I thought it was being written, you know, as an explanation for the anomaly.
I think that's a
Well, actually-
relatively common misconception, though.
Thank you.
It is,
No, it's
and
not.
medically, they thought that for a long time because of the fact that men's one or two pairs of men's lower ribs are shorter than women's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hope someone is listening and finds that very interesting. Somebody has been giving me shit for years.
I guess we'll call this good science Bojan.
It's called the sexual dimorphism of human ribs.
What's up, though? All right, where's this link at? What are you? Is this about ribs?
No, it's about making women look dumb and is a disturbing new podcast trend. So I figured
What
that
does
was
that
right
even
up your
mean?
alley.
Sounds like a hilarious new podcast trend to me.
How can you make them look dumb? By like, hey, here's a question.
No,
Answer.
here's the thing about this, right? I don't give a shit. I like the idea that it's becoming a podcast trend to make women look dumb because in, you know, major TV, it has been a trend to make men look dumb for probably 3 decades now.
Especially
Oh, this is
That's
the
toddlers.
kind of why
Rudder-
this is
the whatever.
happening. You know, it turns out all they do is put a microphone in front of their face and just let them talk and let the dumbness ensue. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of the way it's going.
Yeah, we
They
ain't
asked-
even making them look dumb. They make themselves look dumb.
Exactly. That's kind of like the concept there.
Well, you should stop me. No. We're gonna let this happen. I watch the shit out of that podcast too, the whatever podcast.
Yeah, I don't ever watch it. It has too many women for my take.
They yeah, and they are the craziest women that you can find. Those people are insane.
Yeah, who's this
Just
guy?
let them talk. That's all they do. Just let them talk, and there it goes.
What the hell? What are all these pictures? What is this? I guess I could read these things. No, block. Anyway, yeah, I know the podcast. I've seen the clips going around of it. Oh man, I don't think I can have that one picture up on the side. My goodness, her thumbs were horrible. No, nobody. See her thumbs? Gross.
Whoa.
All right. Whatever podcast. Cool. Um. Cool.
But is
Anything
it
else?
wrong? You know, is
Oh.
this new trend? Is it wrong? I mean, let's dive into this, guys. You don't
Okay.
just
All
look
right.
at it
Yeah.
and just let it go. Yeah. Would you say it's wrong, this trend where they bring women onto the panel and just like let them go? And you know what I mean? Is this
What? Well,
damaging to the female image?
what's the
Perhaps
alternative? I mean, either you
make them
bring
look
them on
smart.
and allow them to speak. What? I don't know how much editing can be done. As someone who does a lot of editing to make people look funny, I don't know if there's enough editing for some of those chicks to look smart.
No, and I mean, at the end of the day, it is a podcast with a very specific dynamic involving the two different parties that come together to have the conversation. But conversational podcasts are not a new thing. And I mean, if these people come in and they say stupid shit, like let it roll, right?
This is kind of where we are today with reality TV. Remember, there was a show called The Bad Girls Club, and they would just bring a bunch of girls in there, and they would fight and throw drinks in each other's faces and spit on each other and stuff like that. And
I mean,
Real
that feels
Housewives
you
is
did-
like that.
I feel like you just
Huh?
described every reality show.
Exactly. You know, and that's why it's surging in popularity. People love to see this. Every now and then they might fight and someone's skirt gets flipped up or something, you know? That's just how it is, man.
Well,
I mean, reality shows, they have a pretty simple formula. It's get a whole bunch of crazy people, put them in close quarters with one another, introduce drama. That's all they got to do.
I think
Started with the real world.
Yep.
I think the issue is the same issue that you find on karaoke night. You have a whole bunch of chicks that have always been pandered to and been told that they're amazing. They're so super smart. And they're like, I know, I'm so smart. Like, I could be anything. But I'd rather just be a whore. Anyway, and it's the same thing with karaoke. You know, you have chicks that have been told their whole life, oh, you sing so beautifully. Oh, it's like an angel. And then they get up there and no one wants to say you fucking suck because like, maybe I can fuck her if I told her she sings good. You know, it's the
Right.
Chris Rock bit about, you want some dick? You know, let me help you with those groceries. Would you like some dick? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. I don't know why they're shocked that they come on and they're asked questions and they sound like idiots because I think that men have came to a point to where they're done. They just don't give a shit. Like they're gonna, especially with comments and shit, because of the anonymity with it, that they're gonna tell you the truth. No, you're not a 10. No, you're dumb as shit. You know, maybe
and
you
the
should
women on
breathe
that
out your
show,
nose.
Like, it's not like they don't know what they're getting into. And it is so painfully apparent when they make their arguments that they have done no research on the topics that are being discussed. Like, none. They are just making this shit up as they go based on their small-minded, short-sighted little worldview that they've had forever that they've never bothered to grow or expand on. And you're going to look like an idiot if you don't at least know what the hell you're talking about.
I disagree. I think that there are people that are smart enough that can be a part of a conversation without ever knowing prior to, you know, the subject. I think that there are people that are capable.
Not when you're being asked direct questions like that.
That's different. Right. Yeah. Yeah. But when they're brought on and you know, there's a conversation going on, just through context clues, they should be able to, you know, hold some type of conversation about what is being spoken, you know?
Oh, there's no self-awareness. You know what I'm saying? It's
Zero.
like for the last, like 5 or so years or whatever, we've been beat over the head with this idea of toxic masculinity. Like men have been like drugged through the mud for a long time, you know, and everyone has just gone along with that. But the narrative is supposed to be that women are better, but they've just been held down. You know, you hear so many people saying the world would be a much better place if women were running it. I remember Barack Obama said some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? And so many of these young girls, unfortunately, before they even have a chance to live and know that they're just as full of shit as men are, you know, they believe that stuff. So they really do think they're smarter than they are. They think they know more than they actually do just because they're women. You know, so when they get put in the spotlight like that, it just makes them so much more able to be exposed as the dumbasses that they are. But they're just as dumb as anybody else. You know,
Well,
it's not like
and
they're
they break
particularly
themselves
dumb.
from the get-go though with that mentality where you think you're really smart. You think you know what you're talking about. The biggest barrier to learning is thinking that you know.
Right.
Because if you think you know, there's no need to learn. So the biggest barrier to learning is to have everyone tell you you're smart, you know, you have the answers. You have to stop. Take an
Well,
honest assessment of your level of knowledge on something, and the only way you're going to learn is if you actually go out and try to learn.
well, yeah, I think Plato said, the only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing at all.
Yes.
Sure.
And
Sure.
there's also this other philosopher guy. He was talking about debate and talking about how the only person that has a cognitive gain in a debate is the loser, because he's the only one that actually is learning something new. The other person is just reinforcing ideas that he already had and were already knew that were the truth, were real. It's just practice. But the loser, so to be a good debater, you have to lose, because that's where you're going to gain that knowledge.
I
But they
also
don't know
blame.
anything about that. Oh, go on, Tina.
I would
Sorry.
say I blame the concept of your truth as being a root of the problem, because you don't have to be right. It's just your truth.
You
Yeah.
can't argue reality with your fucking fantasies. Sorry. It's not a thing. And I mean, this is a silly kind of aside from the whole idea, but you said like in order to gain from a debate, you have to lose. And I mean, that's true across the board. Like I got to a command up in Maine and they had a foosball table. And they were like, "Do you play foosball?" And I'm like, "I've played foosball once or twice." And I got my ass kicked. And I continued to get my ass kicked for a year. But every time I lost, I told myself, I have to keep losing or I'll never start winning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's across all spectrums, any great competitor in any sport will tell you, they always learned more from a loss than they ever did a win. Because
yeah, and if you just quit, if you just shut down, if you stop engaging in the sport, whether it's debate or football or baseball or anything, well, then you're always going to be a loser because you're never going to get to the level where you could win.
And that's why it's so damaging what we have going on in this pop culture, where you see all of these Mary Sue characters who are being put out there for young girls to emulate, but they're never seen struggling. They're never seen earning what it is that that they get. It's just being handed to them. In the black community, they have this thing called Black Girl Magic. I don't know if you heard about that. Black Girl Magic. So they tell the little black girls,
We get it because we deserve it.
yeah, right. You know what I mean? And it's like every strong woman that I've ever known has never fallen back on something like that. My mom, my sister, they never said no dumb shit like I got black girl magic. No, they stayed up all night studying, they stayed up all night, trying to do the things that they need to do to get to where they are in their careers. There's a
broad term
magic.
for it. There's a broad term for it. It's called luck, and everybody's luck runs out sooner or later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you just got to invest more points. So there,
level up.
Wasn't there some politician who wanted to bring black girl magic to Afghanistan?
What?
I think this is a real thing. She was talking about how
what now?
How we need to bring black girl magic to Afghanistan. I think this is a real thing.
Because the women weren't getting killed enough.
Right.
They need to bring an attitude.
It's
absurd.
Devout religious people, you know what they love? Magic.
Yeah,
magic.
But that's why you can't tell so many of them anything. You got to argue with them just to get a single valid point across, because they just think they know everything and you can't tell them anything. And a lot of men are guilty of falling back and not wanting to engage. It's okay. All right. Have it your way. Hell no. Have it your way. No. Wrong is wrong, right is right. I'm not into arguing with people, but I'm just saying it becomes apparent that so many of these young women, unfortunately, they don't know half as much as they think they do. I mean, men don't either, but we know that we're full of shit. We know this. It's already accepted. But for women, it's a revelation. For too many of them, I should say.
The Biden administration top diplomat to Afghanistan apologized Thursday for her cringeworthy Twitter post in which she suggested that women in the war-torn nation needed some black girl magic to overcome the Taliban oppression.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
See
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
black girl magic protects you from bullets.
Oh,
Procrastination. What procrastination? I'm sorry, I mispronounced the name. But yeah, black girl magic is that voodoo? I'm wondering the same thing. What exactly is that? Like nobody's able to give me a definition of black girl magic. I don't get it.
oh, I swear to Christ, this whole thing I thought it was Potato Station because I haven't really taken a look.
Patros. Yeah.
Patro Station? I don't know.
That's as close as you can get, I think.
So on the whole Mary Sue thing in movies, I've been thinking about this idea of that. I think a lot of the issues in movies across the board right now is people in studios are wanting movies, not stories. And I think that the writers that are being hired right now are writing characters for movies, not real people, not character for for a story, but for a movie. That's why so many times you can be there watching a movie and you know exactly what the character is about to say before they say it. Why? Because they were written to be in a movie. Because movies make money.
Matt, that's the difference between Rocky and Creed.
Boom.
Rocky is a character, right? That you can follow. You can feel him. I mean, when he's in the ring and he's losing, he's fighting. That's the reason why you get so pumped up. That's you get so upset. But with Creed, you know where it's going. It's connect the dots. I mean, no disrespect to Michael B. Jordan, but I'm just saying he didn't capture to me that same like everyman, like watching him from his humble beginnings, and all of that. So I think that's a good example of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I think there's so many examples of just seeing a movie and seeing that the responses from the characters are not from the character, but from what the plot needs them to respond.
Well, they don't write fully developed characters anymore either. They're archetypes. They're cardboard cutouts. They
made for a movie.
Represent an aspect of personality, but they do not have a full personality.
No. Nope.
Well, the problem is any story interferes with the agenda.
Yeah, well, because it's so constricted by having all of these rules, like you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't have a Brazilian voice a character in a cartoon that is a black Brazilian character. He has to be the voice actor also has to be black Brazilian. I don't know if y'all know this.
It's
Sunspot on the new X-Men 97 cartoon or whatever, people are upset because it's being voiced by a Brazilian guy, not a black Brazilian.
That's where we are now.
Dude, it's called acting.
I mean, it's the voice. You're not even having to see
the whole idea of being an actor is you are able to portray someone that you are not. You can become a character.
I always point out Carol O'Connor in All in the Family, Archie Bunker. Right, Archie Bunker could not exist today because everyone is so afraid. They would be afraid to put this bigot on the screen and everything, but they missed the whole point. He was supposed to be. There was a larger point that they were making.
It was a character flaw. It was there for so he could grow. It was something he needed to grow through.
And over all of those seasons, you saw that it was slow, but there was a growth that was going on. Almost every episode challenged us through him, as Americans. And I thought that was brilliant. I always have, but today you can't do that because everyone is so tight in their fifis where they're like, oh no, should I laugh at that? Oh no.
Yeah, you can't tell anyone to be better because they're all perfect already.
Exactly. And that's the problem. That's why the kids are as like mixed up as they are, because they don't realize you're supposed to have time to make mistakes. You're supposed to have your moment where, oops, you might just say something racist when you're a kid, and I'm just not just talking about white kids, because contrary to popular belief, everyone can be racist. Everyone can be bigots. So you just might have that moment in your youth where you'll put something online that's dumb, that you wouldn't do when you're an adult or whatever. And there should be room to grow. There should be room to understand. But we don't do that anymore. Everyone's supposed to be in their final form out the womb where you don't grow. You're just there. You're in your final form. You're perfect, fully realized. But that's not realistic. That's the reason why these kids are banging their heads up against the wall these days, because they don't understand what's wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with you. You just need to grow. That's all.
That's because they've never
But that's
failed, because everybody's a winner.
right. Except they're not. And, once they realize that, everything they've been fed is a crock of shit, I think they start to go into crisis. They don't know what to make of the world. You know what I mean? But
Oh no, I mean we've
I
seen that time and time and time again. Like these kids are just messed up lately. They're getting messed up. It's bad.
Well,
yeah.
my son tells me about at university, he'll be taking a class and he jokes around, because they call him the curve buster and everything. But the thing is, you can't bust a curve. It's not like the old days, like when I was going to school, when you had to, walk uphill in the snow both ways. When a curve meant that just as many people who got A's or as many people who got F's and B's and D's and so on, and then the majority of people get a C in the class. Well, the way they curve things now is because so many kids no longer pass a class or no longer get A's, they actually curve the grading scale so that you can get a 40 and still pass the class with a C. And a
Wow.
67 is equivalent to an A. And he said it's absolutely hysterical, because I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be more kids in your class. He's like, yeah, I'm in a class of like 100 people. We're all, biochemistry class, whatever, working with these chemicals. And he's like, I got like 103 on the test because I got the extra credit right. My lab partner got a 97. The other 98 people in the class got scores in the 60s.
And this
And
is
they're
why
all
the
getting the same
medium
damn A. But they're
this is
getting the
why the
same damn
median
A.
IQ is on the decline right now in this
Yep.
country.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So then I asked my son, I'm like, oh, well then, if everybody else in the class is going to get an A, then why are you putting in the extra effort? And he's like, well, because in the real world, you get fired if you get a 67, so to speak, in your daily work. And I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, and even if
Good for
everyone else
him.
still gets A's, I'm the best.
Exactly. Because he's a Bojan and he
Yeah.
kicks ass, but that's another story.
That is so true, though. I find myself always having to challenge my son to, just not be satisfied with mediocrity, like in himself. Like, listen, you can write better, you can express yourself better. I even do the same thing with me. Sometimes I look back on some of the videos that I did. I'm like, dude, you really are talking like a dumbass. You can enunciate a little bit better than what you're doing, even though I don't want to be like, I embrace slang, especially, I'm just kicking it and everything. But at the same time, I like to know that I'm actually capable of putting together, more than one syllable at a time and things like that. And I think people should do that. They should really challenge themselves to be the best form of who they are. Actually, I was just talking about this on the Dark Council podcast. We were talking about this. It's important, to challenge yourself. They tell you be satisfied being obese. It's like be satisfied being less than, just less than, and everyone should just love you that way.
I mean, you can
But
be
that's
satisfied being obese, but you'll have a lot less time to enjoy that satisfaction.
well,
You're gonna
yeah.
die.
I mean, you look, all right, people are fat and everything. I'm fat too, but I'm just saying, it's like, just don't be just satisfied with it. Make some goals for yourself,
And put the work
Exactly.
and I
in.
think that's important. Huh?
And Bush makes a really good point where he says, "Not really, Tina. That idiot who cost Bud Light 26 billion hasn't been fired yet," and that's the problem. So instead of the corporate world kicking it back to secondary education, saying, "Hey, listen, your people aren't prepared to do these jobs. They can't
Yeah.
handle a telephone conversation. They can't write an email that looks like anything other than a text." what they do is they just change the requirements of the job to dumb it down. And we are literally hiring people and teaching them how to write emails and answer a phone.
Oh my God. Yeah, and that is infuriating when you get like an email and it's not even written in English.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's
Yeah.
like they taught me how to do this in 3rd grade. Why do my children who are like in 2nd grade look like they know how to write an email better than you right now? And why are you my boss?
Well, when I was teaching undergrad, I retired from teaching last year as my part-time job. And I would tell the students, it's like, listen, this is a fully online course. If you cannot send me an email and present your case, what your problem is, why you're going to have to miss class, or why homework needs to be late, or why you're having a problem doing your homework, you need to put something in the subject line, because if the subject line is blank, then I just assume it's spam or it's not important. And you need to greet the individual to whom you're sending the email to. And I honestly I don't care if you go, hey, Tina, I got a problem with my homework, and then present your problem. You need some kind of greeting and some type of subject line. And for them, it blows their mind. Well, you're just going to read it, right? I'm like, it's not a text message, dude.
Subject,
Yeah.
greeting, body. And the body better be able to accurately and precisely tell me what you need.
Exactly. And I've told them that if you have a problem with your homework, don't just say, I don't get number 7. You need to tell me what you tried to do to solve the problem and why it didn't work. And then say, okay, what do I do next? Or what other thing can I reference next? Not just, well, give me whatever the formula is so I can plug it into the cell and get the right answer. No, that's not how the real world works.
Yeah, but the expectations have been so far like lowered where these kids, like I said before, it's creating a generation of adults who they have no standards, not even for themselves. We're just supposed to assume that we know everything there is to know about each other. There's no need to explain anything. There's no need for any of that stuff. So no wonder communication is taking such a beating. You see all of these people arguing on online and social media all day because we've lost the ability to really be able to not just communicate with one another, but be sympathetic and compassionate towards one another. Everyone's just waiting for the fight, and a lot of it is based on misunderstanding most of the
Well,
time, just because of, I think, what you're talking about, Tina. Like, they just can't express themselves.
Exactly.
it's the same as whenever somebody has a grammatical error in a tweet, and people are so wanting a win to, oh, you got owned. They skip the 200 comments that have already corrected the grammar to put their own correction in. Like
Right.
I think he gets it. I think he gets it. You just want to be, you want to correct someone. You want somebody to be wrong so you can be right.
Well, and there's one other thing I got to add to this conversation, because apparently the Bride of Slender has been listening and ran in here and explained to me how I have to point this out, and I kind of agree with her. But because of the speed of data with Twitter, social media, Facebook, Instagram, all the other things, like, in addition to the IQ being on the decline, the human attention span is getting smaller than it already was, and it was pretty small to begin with. So
Exactly.
that probably kills you in a professorial environment, because it's like, I need you guys to engage and pay attention to my material, sometimes for an hour or more, and they just can't do it.
Exactly.
Well,
And they also can't wait for an answer. I mean, because I understand college life. I mean, I worked and went to school at the same time. So I know what it's like, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can't figure out what to do with your homework, or you don't know how to start a project, and everybody's asleep. You can't contact anybody in class. You can't contact the professor. But these kids, when they send an email at 2 o'clock in the morning, they expect you to respond within like an hour. So I
Yeah,
literally
no.
I literally had to put in my syllabus. It's like, I will answer emails between between 8 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock at night. I says, and I will answer within 4 hours. I work for a living too, and the little bit of money they're paying me to teach this class, I can't live on.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you do see that email at 9 o'clock. You're like, 8 to 8. Those are my hours. I'll get to this one in the
Exactly.
morning.
Exactly.
But you see on YouTube, everything is about shorts. You know, they're
Mhm.
pushing this shorts thing. You know, I've been told, you know, if you want your channel to grow, you're going to have to embrace the
Mhm.
shorts or you get left behind. And my attitude is, I guess I'm getting left behind because I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going to force all of my thoughts into what, like less than 60 seconds. You know, it's like I had
Exactly.
somebody, you know, comment on one of my videos. You're taking too long. Get to the point. I'm like, dude, get to these. Well, I'm not going to say it because Tina's here, but you know, I was just, I was just telling them, go back to TikTok. All right. Like,
Wait, were
you
you gonna
know,
say get to these nuts?
I was.
Oh,
I'll
that's
say it.
okay. I grew
Yes.
up in Chicago in a very blue collar neighborhood.
Chicago.
So
Okay.
Grew up in
although I have
Chicago.
more degrees than I do hands, I can take it.
Damn, humble
All right.
brag.
Well,
Yeah,
then
well,
you understand what I'm saying. I'm just like,
exactly.
listen, if that's what you're on, that's what you want, then that's the
Well,
way the society is moving.
clearly, if you look at my channel, I have no desire for people to watch. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? That's not a priority for me. It's I like to make things that I enjoy watching, and if other people do, that's awesome. They enjoy it as well. But I don't try to. I don't even tag most of my videos with anything, you know, because this is something I do. I mean, I think chasing these trends just means it can lead to you not enjoying what you do anymore, and that's the last thing I would want to happen.
Matt, you
You know?
really are the YouTuber's YouTuber. Because
Yeah,
that's exactly how I feel too.
yeah,
You
man.
know, it's just if it's not fun, then what's the point in doing it? You know, it's like I'm
Yep.
not chasing anything. You know, for the longest time I called my videos message in a bottle videos. I just throw them out there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. You gotta have fun with it, man. Otherwise, you're stressing yourself out, and for what?
But one last thing, because I was talking about how people are so quick to jump on grammatical errors or whatever because they want other people to be wrong more than they want to be right. Because it reminded me of Charles de Montesquieu, a French philosopher. You know, he talked about how you know, if we wish to be happy, this would be easily accomplished, but we're wishing that to be happier than other people,
Mm.
and that's always difficult. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Too many people are guilty of that.
Exactly. Yep. It's not enough to be
Yeah.
happy. You have to be happier than others.
Now,
see,
in my
and to
own
bring it-
defense, when I correct your grammar or your spelling, it's because I will not tolerate you failing. It's not because I want you to be wrong. It's because I will not
dare you.
accept you being wrong.
Let's see.
And my
I
mother
do it
was
out
an
of
English
love.
teacher, so it's just it's in me. Like every time I would give her homework or anything I had to write for school, she'd bust out the red pen. I got very used to the corrections, so I don't even consider it all that insulting to correct someone. I'm like, I'm trying to help you out.
A Dr.
Yeah.
Anonymous colleague who works in academia, I assume. I don't know who this person is. Attention span. We now have to design all curriculum. Nailed it. As though it is fully online and all things must be broken into task of 10
See, I
minutes
want to
or
correct
less.
you now.
Yes.
On what?
Yes,
On
yes,
what?
Yes.
Curriculum.
Yeah, that's how she spelled it.
Yeah, that's
Or
not
this
how you
person
said
spelled
it.
What? Oh, because I said it with an accent?
Just that one word, though, right?
Oh, you know what word I love to hear is curriculums.
Curriculum?
Curriculums, almost as much as I love medias.
Can you pluralize curriculums?
No.
That's not a thing, is it?
No,
No.
curricula is the plural of curriculum.
Okay.
Just like media is the plural of medium.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Go back to the
You
Latin
see?
roots, folks.
Yeah, Latin.
Learning.
Homies.
Learning is a good thing, you know, and to bring it full circle, that's the problem with, you know, bringing these women onto these panels and stuff, making them look stupid, because the guys who are there are trying to make themselves look smart. It's like that's basically what it is. It's not so much trying to make them look stupid, but they're trying to make themselves look smart by comparison.
Exactly.
You know, so in the meantime, they're telling themselves that they're winning the gender war too, or whatever, you know. So, yeah, and I'm pretty sure it gives them a very big audience doing that. But that in itself is pretty sad. because we're all supposed to be working together at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But
I mean,
yeah, of
yeah, the
course,
guys
that
are.
point's been lost.
Yeah, but I mean, how badly do you have to beat down before you're allowed to start swinging back? You know, and
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily talking in the physical sense, but
No, I get
like
what you're saying. Yeah.
I've been called a racist, a bigot, an istophobe. You know, closed-minded. I have old thinking, etc., etc. Like how many times do you've got to say something to me that clearly has a negative connotation before I can say, okay, well, you're a young prick with a stick up his ass, you know?
And I think that's a lot of the problem. I think that's also by design too, by the way. You know, I heard you guys talking about Generation X and all of that stuff. I think Generation X was probably the last generation that understood that we actually do know each other. You know, it's like we go to school together, we work together, you know, we all work for the same things, to be happy, to feed our families and stuff. It's like subsequent generations, they're having they're having race relations and uh you know, I guess relations between the sexes. Everything is being dictated to them online and in pop culture, so they think they know something about each other when they don't. Like, you wouldn't
Right.
have to tell me that you're not racist, because I would actually take the time to know you. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
like that's kind of the way it used to be. People actually got to know one another. But I think what's happened now is every time a new show comes out, they're talking about, oh, this is the first black person to do this, or they're replacing a white character with a black character. Everyone gets all in an uproar, and if you speak against it, that makes you racist. And like you said, when you keep getting called racist after a while, then you do kind of want to strike back at the people who are calling you that, you know. Or if you're black
Mhm.
and people are calling you criminals, you're sponging off the system, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like people
Well,
just
and
go
that's a
back and forth.
dangerous game too, because I mean, what is the easiest way to make a criminal? You treat someone like a criminal. Like
Thank
Right.
yes,
it's
yes.
almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's like
Mhm.
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy imposed on you by the people who keep telling you that's what you are.
true.
Right.
So if you keep telling people they're racist, you
Well,
may
They're
turn them
gonna
into
create.
racists.
Yes.
I think what has changed is that our default used to be not racist, not sexist until proven otherwise. It's now no, you have to. I forgot who said it. It's some
It's a
dumb.
Napoleonic system. You are guilty until you prove your innocence.
Right, and
Oh,
there
yeah.
was some
Yeah.
politician, I forgot who she was, or somebody like that, like an AOC type, said no, we should be allowed to say they are suspected of being a white supremacist until proven otherwise. What? No.
Right.
What are you
It's
talking?
like it's perfect. It's like when a white cop kills a black suspect, right? Automatically, the cop is racist. Automatically, the black suspect who got killed was probably doing something wrong in the first place. Depending on which side you stand on, usually that's where people will go with it, you know. But sometimes it's just a matter of a cop killed a suspect, but they put the racial aspect on it, and it takes a whole other life, you know, where people start taking sides and all of that stuff based upon race, or you know, whether
What?
they're pandering to this side or that side.
And the
But
talking heads shouldn't even be allowed to discuss this shit because they get so much wrong. Like, I was in the
Mhm.
military, I've done security, I've worked with police. Mad, you know this, but
Mhm.
like so many times they say shit that is just flat out wrong.
Absolutely.
It is not the procedure.
I
Like for example, the whole, you know, the knee on the neck thing. Yeah, that's kind of what you're supposed to do in that situation. You
Mhm.
maybe not have weight on it the whole time, but you want that knee right there in case your suspect starts trying to get up. You can put him right back on the deck.
well,
Or the guy on the subway that
yeah, absolutely. He did not hold him. I mean, he wasn't applying pressure the entire time. That is a ridiculous
Mhm.
statement, and
No,
I've heard
and
it
they
so
let
many
go of him
times.
as soon as he stopped responding, and they put him in recovery position.
But
Not well,
Exactly.
but they did.
as far as the talking heads, I think they absolutely should be allowed to talk about it. However, I think they should be held accountable either by their employers, by the bosses, or
No, I'm not saying
by
like
the viewers.
censored or anything. I'm just
Right.
saying they need like an expert in there to call them and be like, no,
True.
that's not how that works.
I agree with that as well.
oh, they can't get people all riled up then.
By the way, I remember there was this one shooting, this police shooting. This was after Ferguson. Everything was, you know, every time somebody was shot by the cops, people just rushed out and started rioting. And it was in Houston. And I remember everybody just rushed out, getting ready to do it. And the Houston PD released the footage immediately to show, no, the dude had a gun. He literally was shooting at the cops before they returned fire. And then everybody kind of left. They're like, all right, motherfuckers, but we watching you. This one's good, but don't,
Right.
we got our eyes on you.
Bro,
But if
I
you're-
had
if
to
you're-
learn.
moment.
If you're my 17-year-old niece, though, the cops should know how to be able to disarm someone with a weapon and not kill them. Like, for example, the 12-year-old that holds a fake gun and points it at the cop. He's supposed to just assume it's a fake gun, or assume that the gun is unloaded, or shoot.
That's not acceptable. Like, here's the thing. I'm gonna go through it verbatim because for some reason I remember it, but the definition of deadly force is force that is authorized. Deadly force. I forgot it. I forgot it because I said I remembered it. I fucked myself. But either way, if you are using deadly force, you have to use it. Like if you hit a situation where you're authorized to use deadly force, not using it is going to get you killed.
Exactly.
Well, there you go.
It's force that a person uses causing or that a person knows or should know will create a substantial risk of causing death or serious bodily harm. Its use is justified only under conditions of extreme necessity and as a last resort when all lesser means have failed or cannot be reasonably employed.
So this was already addressed a long time because what's happening is there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, and that's not allowed when it comes to these shootings, specifically because of, well, if he would have only known that this guy was this or that, or no, it has to be the it has to be what a reasonable person in that situation, in that circumstance, with the same knowledge as he had in the moment, what decision would they have made? You know what? It's the anyway, but so many times people are like, well, if only he would have known that he would have, if the gun was
all
empty.
he had was a knife. No.
No. I listen. My brother. I've talked about him before. He was on the NYPD and everything, and he's passed on now. He was a first responder and everything like that, and I love him and all that. But I always used to tell him, when he first started, because he was my younger brother, and we grew up, I was always protecting him, but he grew up to be this tough cop and everything. Now he's protecting the world. But I would always tell him, listen, if it's between you and it's between them, you got to come home, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you got to come home. It's like, I knew every day he was going out there with the intention to help people. I knew this. He wasn't going out there to be hurting anybody, to prove anything or whatever. He was just one of those Boy Scout type of guys. He hated, guys who beat women, stuff like that. And I would always tell him, you got to come home. You got to come home. It's like, I understand that it's tragic when you have to take a life, and he never had to, but I'm just saying it's tragic when things like that happen. But at the same time, it's like you're saying, you hesitate in a bad situation just once, and our mother's going to be crying, It's like, you're not going to, so it's like, I get it. It's a bad situation, but I think as a society, I think we all owe it to each other to, I guess, be as conscious as possible of each other's side of it. You know what I mean? Like in the community, you have to raise your children better. You have to teach them how to interact. Like, I know, Matt, you probably have experienced this where you just have to show up on the scene and people start cursing at you, they're yelling at you. They don't have to give you a chance to even do your job before they just assume that you're an abusive cop. They're combative and everything. And I just think that people have to do better, man.
Yeah. It happens, but as far as the coming home thing, there was this saying, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6,
Yeah.
And I won't get into too much detail, but that shit came up in Iraq. You know what I mean? Where after shit goes down, you're like, fuck. But, anyway, I'm not going to get too much into it. But, it's one of, and it, at least when I was in Iraq, whatever, it was never so much about you, but it was about your brothers. It's far more important for Your goal was never whatever the mission was, whatever the bullshit reasons why we were there or what they wanted us to do. All that is just noise. What it all came down to is it's us. Whatever we got to do, we'll go do, and then we're coming back together. Period. And that was the mindset, and with everything that's happening as far as police shootings, everything, we are turning it into the same situation where the police are now at a place where it is them against everyone because everyone is after them.
Well, I mean,
And-
you've been treating them like the enemy for several years now. They're going to start treating you like the enemy back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how it
Under
works.
certain circumstances. Yeah.
It's like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Like this, there are like universal laws at play here that I don't understand why people don't realize that they're going to come back around.
Well, it also has a lot to do with the fact that the media isn't reporting the facts or the truth. I mean, once again, bring up my niece. She firmly believes that there's the hundreds of kids that are innocently shot by cops every year. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Last year in the United States, the number of unarmed black men shot in the United States was like 7.
Yeah, it's usually between that and 11 is usually on the high per year.
Exactly.
And also, by the way, just saying unarmed does not mean that they did not pose a real clear and present danger to the officer in the moment.
Well, that
It
goes
just so
back
happens
to
they
the
were unarmed.
that goes back to the deadly force thing.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the military, when I first joined the military, I only weighed like 140 pounds, right? And they give me a gun and they tell me you've got to guard this checkpoint, and I'm like, okay. They also gave me this pepper spray and this baton, and I'm like, but if like some 250-pound brick shithouse is trying to come through that gate, I'm not getting the baton out. I'm not pepper spraying him. I'm going straight to deadly force if it looks like he's going to come after me. I can't go hands-on with that guy.
No, absolutely not. I was on patrol one night. I get dispatched to some dude that was messing with some security guards or whatever, right? I get there. The guy's already walking down the street. I have no intention of doing any more than what I have to, which means I'm just gonna encode this shit and kick it. I'm going to get his information so I can type it into the system. I'm just gonna get rid of it. It was an incident report. That's it. And so I go. I'm like, hey, my man, I need you to stop. He's like, I didn't do nothing. Dude was 6'4", prison built. He was prison built for a reason. And anyway, so I pull over and I'm on the radio. I'm calling out my position and shit. And he turns around and he's like, man, I didn't fucking do nothing, and balled up his hands. I didn't even let go of the radio. I already had my gun out. I'm like, get on the ground. I'm not doing this. Get on the ground. Because you're outside of.
Because if you go hands on with him, you try and bring a baton into play. You try to go hands on with him. He's gonna beat the shit out of you. He's probably taking your baton, and then he might, collapse your skull with it. You don't know.
No bullshit. Mm-hmm. He just got out of prison for attempted capital murder.
Ooh.
He tried to kill a cop.
Yeah, the gun was probably the right choice in that.
Yes, it was. Yeah, this again. I was a cop after Iraq, so any hesitation or any thought of like, am I ready to kill? Gone. There was no doubt in my mind that motherfucker took a step. We're done. It's over. But the dude just walked off. I'm like, this motherfucker. And
I should point out. Okay, bro. Sorry.
Oh no, but then second officer, came on scene, I immediately put away my gun because it's a different scenario now. It is no longer me and this giant dude. It is now two of us. So now I'm putting the gun away and I'm getting a different tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always like to point out too that there are more white people who are killed by cops in this country than black people. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, like I actually made a video about that, and I was called a liar up and down my comment section. I just thought it was very telling.
Significant. Even if you take the numbers out of the equation and you go with percentages of per capita, like I still think white people getting shot by police officers is a higher percentage.
It absolutely is. Because I actually started keeping track. I'm actually, for a while I was reporting on it, and either on Twitter or in my channel. Mm-hmm. Just because, first of all, I got to prove it to myself if I'm going to present it. So, so I saw what was going on, and really it just became a condemnation of the media because they refused to cover it.
Well,
Like they
and
don't
that's the
cover it the
thing.
same way.
The statistics, like sometimes they try to twist them, but if you go look at the overall picture, the statistics never bear out the narrative they're trying to push. They never do.
No, and that's why it's so tragic when you have, you work people up into a frenzy, have them go running through the neighborhood, they're rioting, they're looting, you got Black Lives Matter trying to convince them that it's open season and all of this shit, and it's
Well,
just
those
like,
mansions
man,
cost a lot of money, so
Oh, LeBron out there saying,
man,
"Man, they out here hunting us, bitch." Ain't
yeah,
nobody
you know what I
hunting
mean?
you,
You got to be,
LeBron. Are you fucking
but
kidding me?
see, that's the evil of it because you're crushing those kids' spirits.
Mhm.
I have to go back and talk to my son and tell him, listen, it's not like that, kid. It's not like that. Because
Well,
he starts feeling like, well, what's the point? What's the point in life? I'm being hunted. No, you're not. You're not. So I
no,
turn to people
if
like
you get pulled
LeBron.
over, you keep your hands
Mhm.
on 10 and 2, you turn on the interior lights so that the police officer can see what's in there, and you don't go for anything until he tells you what he wants, and then you tell him, all right, I'm going to get it. It's in the glove box. Let me just grab it. Something
oh
like that.
no, better. This is what I do. Even when I was a cop, I did this in uniform when I got pulled over. Of course, I didn't get a ticket. The guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I don't
I
know
mean,
you. I'm not
usually I
trying to
just
get
throw it
shot."
all up on the dashboard real quick,
I
but it
hold my
depends on how quick
license.
he comes.
I hold my license in one hand, my insurance in the other. I have both hands on top of the wheel, interior light on, all windows down, my head down, just waiting on
Mhm.
them to come up. I'm not fucking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
He's
Exactly.
not gonna do it.
My boys are taught to do the same thing, but also include their CCL.
And
Yeah.
it's basically like in this situation where you get pulled over by a police officer, what you have to remember is that you are both animals. Like you are more afraid of him than he is of you, and he is more afraid of you than you are of him.
Mhm.
There you go. There you
Well,
go.
so
So
the
true.
the issue with like what LeBron James is saying, if you're black and you see a cop run, they want to kill you. That no, yeah, you're gonna get shot doing that. What are you talking? That's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because it makes this whole narrative makes people more agitated around cops, which makes more cops more defensive and agitated around you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a
That's
pressure
what I was
cooker.
saying. Dude, I told this story about how, my son and his friends, he came to me and told me, Dad, we were outside. He's outside playing. It must have been something like maybe I don't know, 9 or 10 years old with his friends and stuff. He's like, yeah, the cop came around the corner and everything, and we ran. I'm like, you ran? I'm like, son, where did you who told you to do that? It's like you come from a law enforcement family.
You know what the
You don't
police call
run.
that? They call it suspicious behavior. Now they're probably going to
Yes.
try and detain you.
But but dude, you know why they're doing it? Because of people like LeBron James, high profile people who are telling them this stuff. I'm your father. I never told you to do that. It's like, why would you do this? I had to sit him down. I said, bring your friends, bring them over here. It's like, did you do any crimes? No. What are you running for? Do you realize what that looks like to a cop when you just start running at the sight of him? You're telling him that you're
Looks like
guilty. You did
paperwork.
something. You're up to something.
And
Never do that again.
heaven forbid, one of those kids like fell down, scraped a knee, broke an ankle, and the rest of the kids are running.
Yeah.
The kid's
So
down for a reason and it has no idea.
But
everybody else
that's
is
why I
running
talk
away.
the way I do about these types of topics. People act like it's just, oh, there he is. So, he's not going to get any views talking about this. Damn the views. It's what we were talking about, Matt. I don't care. It's like somebody has to talk about, the truth of it. Like you said, of course, we're having fun with it too. But if anyone's going to tell the truth, it might as well be you or I if we realize what it is. Because it's crazy, man. It's real out here. Kids are getting in bad situations because they've been victims of this negative programming, this self-fulfilling prophecy, like what you were saying.
Well, because
Yeah.
the way the way I always approached it was my attitude is a reflection of yours. If you're cool with me, I'm gonna be cool with you. You cross that line, we're gonna be in a entirely different scenario. You're not gonna like it, And I also, I think another problem is cops are so hesitant to go hands on or to force the issue because they're going to be on camera, because they could lose everything if something goes wrong. So you see them like,
Well,
I'm gonna
even when you
count
see
to
the
3 if
videos
you
where
don't
the
do what I'm
cops
doing.
go hands on, they get world of shit for that nowadays.
Yes.
Like
So
you'll see 3 cops take a lady down, and the lady's fighting them, and like, Oh,
Oh.
why did they treat her like that? Well,
Women are-
she's fighting them.
Listen, women are the
Bro.
worst. They think that they can just get away with anything until they get slammed.
Dude,
Anyway,
like I watched one. Literally, she like punched the cop, and then he basically choke slammed her. But like, what are you supposed to do in that? This lady just walked up and punched him.
I used a very simple method. It was called the ATM method. I will ask you to do something. I will tell you to do that thing, and then I will make
do
you.
that thing.
Yeah, that's it. That
Yes.
normally I don't even have to get to the last because I will say, listen, do me a favor if you can go ahead and step out the car. You need to step out the car, and then I will say, I've already asked you, and I've already told you there is one last step, and you do not want to know what that is. And they usually get the fuck out because they're like, oh, I don't know what this last one is, but it doesn't sound great.
Or you
Yeah.
do the tell as part of the tell. You explain to them how you're going to make them. They might not like the way that sounds, so they'll go with the tell.
But I imagine it's not a pretty thing to have to apprehend somebody, because they don't want to be apprehended. Like I was a freaking security guard at a store, and we had to rough people up just because, it's like if they're shoplifting or something like that, you caught them, they shoplifted, you got them. You're walking them back to the office and stuff. All of a sudden, they do some crazy resisting thing where they're going to try to all of a sudden shove you and all of this stuff. Now, everybody's on the floor. It looks terrible. People are taking out their cell phones and stuff like that. And, it looks bad.
What do they want in that situation? Do they want a friendly scuffle? Like, if you could just make the scuffle look a little more friendly while you detain this guy, we really. It doesn't make us feel good that it looks like you might be hurting that person who's trying to hurt you.
Boost, I would allow you to explain all of your rights after I drag you out the fucking window and have you on the ground. If I'm asking you to get out of the car, there's a reason.
Yeah,
Isn't that rule number one? If the police officer asks you to do something that that you're not supposed to do or whatever, just do it. Get their badge number and file your complaint later.
Absolutely.
Boom.
Same thing.
That's
I would. I never even carried a ticket book. I didn't give a shit about tickets. I wasn't out there trying to write tickets. You know what I mean? If I'm pulling somebody over, it's either because I need to talk on the radio because I took a nap or I was watching something on Netflix, or it's because, I'm like, oh, that guy looks like a cool dude to talk to. Let me go see what he's up to. And then I'll wait for a legal reason to pull him over. But no, people who like to argue like, I wasn't doing this. This is not the place, bro. In what world do you think you're going to convince me that I am wrong and you are right? There is a court system in place for this very thing. And a dude one time was like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. You're right. Yeah. Guess what? I'm not even writing you a ticket. What are we even doing?
It looks like Boost is going to force you to have to take action here, man. He's just not going to cooperate.
He's not budging, man. It's time to make him.
He's not getting out of the car. Uh-oh.
No,
we know how this ends.
Yeah, no. My spray's coming in.
My gosh.
You can just sit there in your car.
I'll spray this whole can in there, and then you're gonna want to get out of the car.
Yeah. Nah, everyone's got a responsibility, man. It's like I'm probably the biggest blackest guy. I think it's safe to say I'm the biggest blackest one on the panel right now. And
debatable, but go on.
Yeah, but I'm just
who are you,
bro? But I know of the times that I've been pulled over and stuff. It's like I just do what I'm supposed to do. I'm pleasant. Whatever. I understand the process. I understand what's going on. The dude is not here to be arguing with me. I don't believe for a second he pulled me over to kill me. It's just listen, okay, I ran the light. Maybe I was going too fast or whatever. And I expect, I've been pulled over, so you might as well get this thing over with, man. Do what you got to do. But all this arguing and people wanting to pull off when the cop is trying to talk to you, and it's like, come on, it's like we all know how that's going to end.
To wrap this up, I'll give the quick version of a story I think a lot of you heard, which is I was out one night, needed to pull somebody over, pulled him over. I was behind him the whole time, right? And I pull him over, I get to the window, and I'm like, hey, I'm Officer Matt Cheesemo, because that's my name. And before I could even finish, she goes, this is some motherfucking bullshit. I was like, oh, please continue. This sounds way more interesting than what I was going to say. And she goes, this is the second time I've been pulled over by you motherfuckers today, and it's only because I'm black. I said, ma'am, it's 2:00 in the morning. I was behind you. You have tinted windows. I didn't know if there was a purple fucking elephant in this car, let alone the color of your skin. Now then, let me see your insurance and license, right? She did not appreciate that. Went and complained the next day. I get to work. My patrol captain's there. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is about. And he's like, Machismo, need to see my. I'm like, goddamn purple elephant. Knew it immediately.
Officer Mad, my office
like,
now.
By the way, black guy. In his office behind him, he has this picture of him in a gi with a giant afro because he he was really big into karate.
Dude, I think I took lessons from that guy at the mall.
Anyway, so he tells me
Bruce Leroy?
Yeah, she came in and told me her version, and I was like, well, I mean, her language is cleaner than hers, but yeah, that's basically verbatim what was said. And I was like, so what did you say? And he goes, well, I told her, ma'am, to be fair, he didn't know if there was a purple elephant in your car. I went, shut the fuck up. What happened next? He goes, well, in the morning, we both have to see the chief. I'm like, because apparently she went up the chain and complained. But that's what I'm saying. She automatically was in that aggressive position, and my mouth got me into trouble a lot. I could not work day shift.
Like you were essentially mirroring the attitude that was given to you. You didn't escalate. You were speaking her language, you know?
Yeah. That captain actually was one of the guys. He's like, look, I'm not telling you that that you can't use the F word, because some people, that's all they understand, you know? And it was I wouldn't speak to some.
Oh yeah. You were civilian police. Like, I mean, the F word was like that. They gave us that for our tool belt when you're working security in the military. Like, if someone's doing something they're not supposed to do, you're like, get on the fucking ground. Like, if you don't say the fucking part, they might not listen. But if they hear that, they know you're serious.
You would think.
Yeah.
I also learned whispering some shit to people, it can be more intimidating, and other people can't hear. This one female sergeant, we had to fight this guy. We got on the ground. She goes, I really thought it was great how you were trying to calm him down and speak softly to him. I'm like, you didn't hear what I actually said, did you? She goes, no. I said, if you don't stop, I'm going to choke you the fuck out right now. She goes, oh my God, don't tell me this.
It's realistic.
Yeah.
It's realistic, man.
I had no problem choking somebody out. Anyway,
I mean, you got to use different approaches for different people. At the end of the day,
the
goal is to gain compliance, right? Some people, they are not going to comply if you just say, I'm going to need you to step over here, please, sir. Like, you might have to be a little more forceful with them. You might have to make them. Like, the goal is gain compliance, because you need to control the situation.
Well, once again, that's what the media has done. And I think Bush was making the point. I think it was Bush that was saying that it's not just that either. It's in schools, they're teaching these things too. I think that's what DeSantis was rejecting the whole, the African American extended study, whatever it was, because they were trying to sneak some of that stuff in there where they're putting that in a curriculum, about
the 1719 project. They twist the current lessons to just unbelievable degree. It's bad.
1619.
Yeah. And like I said, I get called names for this all the time, but what I'm trying to do in my own way is save lives, because you can't send kids out into the street thinking that they're being hunted. That's just irresponsible. It's not right. It's further endangering them. So, you have all of these people who are doing this, that's their agenda, to victimize these people and, have them believe that the whole world is against them. And that's not doing anything but make it worse. People just don't understand that. We're victims. Why can't you just be a victim like the rest of us? Because I'm not. I never will be. My son won't be either, but that's what people are invested in these days. And that's what makes it that self-fulfilling prophecy that you were talking about. And, until people start seeing that more often, it's not going to get any better, man. I'm sorry to say.
Nope.
And
the consequences continue to mount.
And on that high note, we're going to end it. Anybody got anything left before we go?
Where am I here? I just want to say rest in peace to the Punisher, because I understand that they pretty much ended his run in a most disrespectful way, but we're not going to get into that because I know it's the end. But I just wanted to say that because that's a big deal, man. you know, whoever doesn't know it, look into that story. The
Yeah, I had to
Punisher.
look into it. I don't know it.
But he'll be coming in the MCU, and they're talking about it being an R-rated series.
Shit.
Are they really?
We'll see.
Yeah. And I almost made an entire stream without bringing up the MCU. I should get a gold sticker.
No, because you did. You brought it up here at the end.
Yeah. Don't see Renfield. It was disappointing.
Oh.
Aw.
It could have been good, but they're like, nah, we don't want to make it good.
We're gonna see the Spider-Verse movie tomorrow.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I
Thinking-
hear
Lil
good things about
Chad
it. It better
said
be.
it was okay, but it was really long.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
2
heard it was
hours
too
and
long.
15 minutes. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
but that's pretty common nowadays. Like movies, they don't know how to make them efficient anymore. Like we gotta get back to that. Instead of giving me a really long movie with a lot of cool stuff, you give me a great movie that's about 90 minutes and just hits all the beats that it needs to.
Mm-hmm. By the way, thank you.
Sounds good to me.
Commenting is dangerous. This group all has great chemistry together. Need to make these for a regular thing.
Woo!
Mostly agree. I hate hosting. I don't like it. I don't do good at it. I'd rather just be here chilling. But
You do a great job. And what do
Whatever.
I always say every week on Wednesday? The best Scott streams are the streams without Scott.
Oh,
and on
he's in the
that
chat
note-
too. Hey, Scott.
No, that was me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm hosting. Yeah, I was just telling Boost. I too used the generic Dave Chappelle white guy voice. All right, bye everybody. We'll do this video.
Thank you all for your memberships. Special guest to read them is Joel Rogan.
Spoon Level, Katina Martin, Small Time Republic, Glinzer, Michael Wolf, Biggles _ Mets, McKinney Draws, Sean Estep, Pops, Zach's Fork Level. What about Dontarius, Boosh McFadden, Release Than McCracken, also Me1, Kitty Bear, Soul Assassin, AI Privilege, Tina Boyan, Biensutter, Monkey Jeebus, Ben Hennigar, Mr. Grant Gregory, Eric K. Sporker Level, E. Clay Thomason. Thank you all for your memberships.